Central Bank of Nigeria has raised its benchmark interest rate, known as the monetary policy rate, to 22.75% for the first time in 8 months. The cash reserve requirement was also increased to 45%. Correspondent Ademola Lawrence reports.
According to CBN data, this is the highest MPC rate ever and is aimed at mopping up excess naira liquidity. Olayemi Kadoso, governor of the CBN, who chaired the Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the first time since he assumed office in September 2023. The governor of the central bank talked about a clampdown on crypto exchange, including Binance. He said over $26 billion has passed through Binance Nigeria in the last 4 years.
In the case of Binance, in the last 1 year alone, $26 billion has passed through Binance Nigeria from sources and users who we cannot adequately identify.
The governor says the CBN will ensure that the economy is highly liquid and money will only get to genuine players in the economy.
The committee decided to further tighten monetary policy as follows. 1, raise the MPR by 400 basis points to 22.75 from 18.75%. As the central bank is concerned, we are moving to a very aggressive regulatory environment. We are moving to a very aggressive regulatory environment where those policies have been coming out, as you can see, and tolerance for people not to abide by the regulations that are coming out and to comply is zero. People will have to abide by those regulations, and those that do not will face the consequences for not doing so.
Mr. Cardoso also revealed that $400 million was paid to settle some outstanding foreign exchange commitments.
About $400 million that have to those that have been so identified. And we are committed to continue to do so in one form or the other to those that are genuinely identified and proven cases.
Mr. Cardoso says for the CBN, collaborating with the EFCC is very important, and they are also determined to do everything in their power to stop manipulation in the market. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
Now, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria held an in-house training on tax audit on the oil and gas industry for the third batch of Gambia Revenue Authority officials in Lagos. The training was aimed at enhancing their skills in tax administration and management in oil and gas industry. The initiative is part of the ongoing efforts by the Gambia Revenue Authority to strengthen bilateral ties with Nigeria and to equip participants with modern trends and best practices in tax management in oil and gas sector.
If taxation is generally technical, then I can tell you audit of oil and gas is technical because you don't find many people in that area, highly specialized. So, and it is for that reason that we have brought our experts across the country, particularly from Federal Inland Revenue Service, to make sure that they give them the stuff that is required for the people at this level. It is just to add value to what we are doing.
We have oil prospect. There has not been a discovery yet. We've had some exploration activities, and it's looking promising. So in that regard, the government thought that it's wise that we build a capacity. So in the event that we strike oil, so the capacity will already be on the ground. So it's like building the foundation before you build a house. And there's no better place to learn about oil and gas audits or oil and gas sector more than Nigeria, because Nigeria has huge oil and gas deposit. And beside that, Nigeria is a country that we can learn from.
Now, to mitigate the impact of fuel subsidy and soaring cost of food commodities on citizens, Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment put together a stakeholders meeting with business membership organizations on navigating current economic challenges. Addressing the stakeholders, the Commissioner of Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medibin, stated that through dialogue and cooperation, both the government and citizens can work together towards achieving a sustainable solution that will benefit Nigerians.
We believe that it's very important that we engage with all the business member organizations that we have, and they were in full attendance today, and to really understand how we can collectively address the economic challenges and make sure that we try and also come up with the way forward collectively in order to ensure that the businesses continue to thrive and we are able to achieve the desired outcomes in terms of making sure that the businesses are actually operating optimally, and also the ease of business is being achieved, and the cost and a number of other sovereign challenges that are occurring, that we as a ministry are able to go back and come back with the answers to that, and also adequately, proactively engage all those key stakeholders as well.
I think the government should do more in consistently engaging stakeholders, because the government actually has a lot of initiatives and a lot of ideas, but I think the execution and the people involved is usually wrong. So the stakeholders, like the business owners, the chambers of commerce, the grassroots people, are the ones that are feeling the real brunt of these things. So it's necessary for the government to constantly engage them, to know their problems and how to address the problems.
We want Lagos State to assist SME and the nano and so on in the area that I just mentioned. We want them to assist us to move our goods freely and to also work out a financial assistance, like giving grants, to boost production.
2.5 hours of tribute and honor moved out of the Nigerian Exchange Group in Lagos for Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo, who died in a helicopter crash in the U.S. Market editor Ifyong Ekop report, and afterwards we're back with Football Tonight.
Capital market professionals, friends and associates have paid tribute to Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo, who died in a helicopter crash in the U.S. The 2.5 hours event was put together by the Nigerian Exchange Group and the Coronation Group. Individuals and representatives of various professional associations within the market community praised the humble character of Abimbola Ogunbanjo, who was the former chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group.
His kindness, his humility, and his unwavering integrity endear him to all who had the privilege of knowing him, and his memory will forever be cherished in our hearts.
We had a man who was prepared by God for the time that he served on the stock exchange, and he gave birth to the NGX. This capital, this anchor of the capital of the economy, will continue to pay tribute.
Many people remembered his role in turning the trading floor of the stock exchange to a public enterprise, creating wealth for investors.
An exchange president, a role that Bimbo occupied perfectly and carried out admirably, is one of the most difficult jobs in any country.
We're going through difficult times. Bimbo would have loved to be very much a part of the solutions to these problems. But we all owe him something, which is to stay the path. No deviation, and we'll keep talking to him.
The helicopter crash, which took the life of Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo, also killed the former CEO of Access Holdings, Mr. Herbert Wiwe, his wife and son. Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo was a lawyer and a businessman with great interest in growing the capital markets. Ifyong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.